This video is going to help with Chapter 2, Lesson 5, and it's going to explain how to multiply easily using the distributive property. So we see 5 times 13, and the way that we're going to model this is we're going to draw a rectangle that is 5 squares by 13 squares. So I'm going to draw a rectangle that's 5 squares by 13. And then I'm going to label it. It's 5, and then this is 13 up here. Okay, so now we want to find out what numbers make up 13. So these can be any numbers that you add together to make up 13. It can be 1 plus 12, 2 plus 11, 3 plus 10, 4 plus 9, 5 plus 8, 6 plus 7, and I'm stopping there because then we'll start repeating ourselves. What the students notice today is that if they use a 10, it actually is going to be easier for them to multiply and to add because it gives them that 0. So a lot of them have been breaking up the 13 into 10 and 3 or other numbers like 15 into 10 and 5 and so on. But if you do any of these ways, you're going to get the same answer. You just need to make sure that you know how to multiply 5 times 6 and 5 times 7 or 5 times 4 and 5 times 9 easily. They also learn that when you use the 10, it'll be a lot easier to add later on. So now I'm going to break my rectangle up into a 10 and a 3. It's easier to just count off the 3, 1, 2, 3. So now I split my rectangle. So now I have 10 and 3, which you see make up 13. So this rectangle here is going to be 5 times 10, and this rectangle is going to be 5 times 3. So now that's our distributive property, 5 times 10, and then 5 times 3, 5 times 10 equals 50, 5 times 3 equals 15. You add those products together to get your final answer. So we find out that 5 times 13 equals 65. Okay? Another way that students learned today was they drew a picture. So they would draw tens. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. And then 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's 113. So that's 10 and then 3. And they would have to draw this 5 times because it's 5 times 13. And some of the students actually preferred this way. So this is using base 10 blocks, but you're just drawing them out rather than having them right in front of you. So there is my 13. Sorry, it's not super pretty, but as you see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of 13. So what I told my students to do today was to draw a line down the middle between them, and that they were going to separate their ones versus their tens. Okay? And they counted them out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens, which equals 50. And then they counted out the ones. There's 1, 2, 3 by 5. So there's 5 times 3 ones, which ends up equaling 15 ones. And then they just add, I kind of told them, imagine that bar that they separated is a plus sign, 50 plus 15. And they get 65, just like they did with the top problem up there. These are very similar to the problems that I sent in the pictures as well for you to see.